And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch it live, head over to takesbyfans.com/watch. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of the shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. Alrighty, today's a big old Tuesday, folks, and what we're going to be doing today is just a little bit of a casual coaching conversation, folks. Can we talk about coaching? Yes, we've got division championship Sunday coming up this week, but we'll get back into that on tomorrow's show when we, break down the film study to prepare us for Thursday, Friday, etc. But, we've got a little bit of time in today's show, a little bit of a free day. So let's talk about some coaching. And y'all know how we feel about coaching. We want offensive mind coaches, and we're seeing defensive mind coaches getting second looks. So let's just lay it all out there. Let's dissect these coaches. What's winning in the league? What's not winning in the league? Can we trust these guys that aren't kind of the, what we want to see at the head coaching position? We'll see if we can trust and see if these teams are making the right decision, because there's no head coach hiring as of yet, but but one team just hired an offensive coordinator, folks, and it's laughable. And I already know that these teams that are looking for the coaches, they're gonna make the wrong decision, because this team just made the most comical decision at offensive coordinator, and I cannot believe it. So we're just gonna have a casual coaching conversation, folks, talking everything through. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. But we also got to do the NBA as well, so let's get that taken care of first, and then we will dive right into this coaching carousel that, happens every single season, folks, and we'll break it all down. And nobody's even talking about the best candidate. There is one fantastic candidate that is so much better than the rest, and I don't think he's gotten any interviews so far. All these teams, they're jumping too quickly into it, folks, and I don't get why. I get you. Okay, let's save it all. All right. Let me settle down here, and let's get 10 minutes on the clock. We'll do the NBA, and then we'll go on the coaches. So here we go. Saving everything till after the NBA Daily 10. So here we go. 10 minutes on the clock. Next 10 minutes, uninterrupted basketball talk of what just happened yesterday in the NBA. 10 minutes on the clock, and the 10 minutes start right now. Alrighty, only 4 games on in the NBA last night, and aren't we glad that we did not bet anything? You can't bet back-to-backs in the NBA, folks, because it's not going to turn out how you think it is. Teams that are kind of warmed up going against teams that are cold, it's never going to work out the way you did. And all these spreads, they were right on their money. There was really no great value last night. So once again, if you do like betting and all that, don't bet back-to-backs in the NBA. That's what we do over here. Once again, y'all do whatever you want, but we would advise against it. So let's start here with the first game up. We got the Knicks at the Cavs, and I think this spread, it closed at Cavs -5. I think when we talked about it, it was Cavs -3, but this one closed at Cavs -5. Cavs, they win, but only win by 2 here, so they don't cover that, but the Cavs get the win 95-93 last night. Knicks made a little bit of a run in the third quarter, early fourth quarter, but the Cavs stuck it out and closed it out and got the win. So Darius Garland, 13 points, 12 assists. This man is absolutely phenomenal here. Great facilitator of the floor. Definitely can, shore up the efficiency a little bit. He shot 31% on 19 shots, 1 of 6 from the 3. So definitely can clean that up a little bit. But man, oh man, this is the guard that this Cavs team needs. And this Cavs team, let's check where they are in the standings. I want to say they're top 5, maybe even top 4 in the Eastern Conference. What do we got so far? 5th in the Eastern Conference here at 29-19, 8-2 in their last 10. How great is that? The Cavs have not been relevant without LeBron James since their inception of whenever their organization started, and now they're finally being solid and able to win games and be competitive without LeBron James, and Darius Garland is a true credit to that. Obviously, There's more Jared Allen, but he didn't play last night. So we had Ed Davis playing the 5, only 2 points, 6 rebounds. We have Evan Mobley, who the rookie here has been fantastic. Another huge bright spot for this Cavs team. This Cavs team is young, folks, so this could be a nice squad moving forward. So Evan Mobley last night, 15 points, 5 assists, 12 rebounds, fantastic. Dean Wade, 13 points, and then Isaac Okoro at the 2, 14 points, 6 rebounds, magnificent. And then Kevin Love, yes, and he's been so gosh dang great. Kevin Love hasn't really been anything fantastic, but now that he's here, coming off the bench here for the Cavs, nice veteran piece to help out this young squad, and he's getting it done almost on a nightly basis here. 23 minutes off the bench, 20 points, 11 rebounds on 6 of 12 from the 3. Yeah, sir, we'll take that. And Colin Sexton, remember, he's out for the season, and this Cavs team is still getting it done. So shout out big time to everybody on this Cavs team. They're getting it done, and they won it down late in the stretch in the fourth quarter last night. Alrighty, and then the Knicks. Once again, guard play is lackluster, and RJ Barrett and Julius Randle are the only decent options, but Julius Randle, remember last season he had that breakout season in the MVP discussion, floundered big time in the playoffs, and once again this season it's nothing like it was last season. So Julius Randle was kind of a one-hit wonder a little bit, still a solid option, but he's not a number 1 for your team. He's not a number 2. He would make an okay number 3. Unfortunately for the Knicks, he needs to be kind of the number 1 here, so not looking that great for this Knicks team. This Knicks team, let's see where they are in the Eastern Conference. We just told you the Cavs are number 5. The Knicks are number 11. They're not even in the play-in tournament. So the Knicks in the playoffs last season, did they win the first round? They may have won the first round matchup. But the Cavs, once again, just not even relevant without LeBron James. And once again, it's fantastic that they are at number 5 here. So shout out to that. And then unfortunate there by the Knicks. But Julius Randle last night, 18 points. He was a minus 22 on the floor, the worst by far, folks. The second worst plus minus was Evan Fournier, minus 14. He only scored 7 points, 1 of 6 from the 3. Then we have Kemba Walker, 8 points, 1 assist. What is this guard play? Kemba Walker, 1 assist. Evan Fournier, no assist. What? It's driving me crazy. This Knicks team, they're absolutely not good at all. So, Cavs get a nice win here. Clutch it up in the fourth quarter. Get the win, 95-93. All right, then we get the Pacers at the Pelicans. Where did this line end up last night? Pelicans get the win, and this is the one that we kind of wanted to take, and the closing odds were Pelicans minus 4, and they win by 4. Pelicans get the win, 117-113 over the Pacers last night. No Brandon Ingram, so it's just Valanciunas out there by his lonesome, and he got it done. 16 points, 6 assists, 12 rebounds. Fantastic work by Josh Hart, 22 points, 10 rebounds. Devontae Graham at the 1 led the team in scoring, 25 points, 6 assists. See Evan Fournier, see Kemba Walker. You can lead the team in points, which we know they like to kind of shoot the ball, and then you also can lead the team in assists with 6 assists. You can have your cake and eat it too. The Knicks just don't know how to rock with this. So shout out to Devontae Graham, fantastic. And then Jackson Hayes coming off the bench, absolutely love it. Big fan of Jackson Hayes. Would love to see him more involved in the offense here. 17 minutes coming off the bench, 14 points, 7 rebounds. And then Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 14 big old points coming off the bench, along with 6 assists as well. So well done for the Pelicans to overcome no Brandon Ingram. And then we get the Pacers. Once again, nothing good. Sabonis, no Sabonis. We got Goga Bitadze filling in at the 5 for Sabonis, 12 points, 5 rebounds. Karis LeVert led the team, or no, did not lead the team in scoring, actually. He had 19 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, solid performance. But we had Dwayne Washington Jr. lead the team in scoring, 21 points off the bench in only 23 minutes. But once again, the Pacers can't close, so this is not a Sabonis issue. It's not like whenever Sabonis is on the floor, they can't close. They just can't close in general. Pelicans get the 4-point win, 117-113. Alrighty, next game up here, we get the Bulls at the Thunder, and all those outs for the Bulls, you would probably want to stay away from them, but last night they get the win, 111-110, nice 1-point win here, and the odds closed at Chicago -1. They win by 1, folks, so truly glad that we stayed away from the NBA last night. There was no great value either way, all back-to-backs, everything like that, so we try to tell ya, hopefully you took our advice. Bulls get the 1-point win, 111-110 over the Thunder, and this Bulls team winning Without DeMar DeRozan, they have Kobe White coming off the bench, and they still get the win. That's a nice performance. So let's see how they got it done. We got Vucevic at the 5, 26 points, 15 rebounds. He led the team in scoring, magnificent, and this was great as well. Ayu Dosunmu, 24 points, 8 assists, getting it done. He was a plus 15 on the floor, the highest plus minus from last night. And then Zach LaVine getting it done, 23 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, getting it done. Magnificent. And then Troy Brown Jr. getting the start here at the 1. Kobe White coming off the bench. Real weird. We didn't really understand that, and it was kind of like a game time decision. They already kind of tweeted out that Kobe White was going to be in the starting lineup, and then like last second they changed it, so real bizarre there. But Kobe White still played 31 minutes. But Troy Brown Jr. in the starting lineup, 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. And then Kobe White coming off the bench. He did not have a great night. 9 points. He had 7 assists and 7 rebounds, so we'll give him credit for that. But he was a minus 11 on the floor. That's the worst plus minus on the floor last night for the Bulls. And he also shot poor as heck, 21% on 14 shots, 1 of 7 from the 3. So what is this, back-to-back not great performances by Kobe White? We'll give him a little bit of a break here because he wasn't playing with the starters, but just an interesting kind of lineup, last-second lineup change, but it worked out in the end, so I guess the Bulls knew what they were doing, getting the win. And then for the Thunder, we got Luguentz Dort, 16 points, 7 rebounds. He shot 38%. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 31 points, 10 assists. Once again, shout out to these guards getting it done in the points and the assisting department. Knicks can't do any of that. And then a nice solid performance by Mike Muscala coming off the bench with 14 points, but that was really it, and they just cannot clutch it up in the fourth quarter. So Bulls get the win, 111-110. Zach LaVine back, and hopefully DeMar DeRozan gets back soon, and this Bulls team can try to kind of weather the little bit of the storm. They're in a little bit of a swing here. Yeah, 3-7 in their last 10. They're still number 2 in the Eastern Conference, but let's start to kind of stop this skid a little bit, and Zach LaVine is obviously going to be a huge piece to help stop that. And then we get the last game of the night here. We get the Jazz at the Suns, and the Jazz were playing all their backups, and they still kept it close, folks. So no starters starting last night for the Jazz, and the line was Phoenix minus 12. You might have thought that was a slam dunk all day, but they covered the plus 12 there. Suns get the win, 115-109 over this Jazz team. So for the Suns, last night, Chris Paul, 27 points, 14 assists, 9 rebounds. If Chris Paul is doing this at, what do we got on Chris Paul? Is he, 37 now? Man, oh man, is he 37? What do we got here? 36, man, oh man. Chris Paul aging out of the league. We don't like to say that, but he is aging like fine wine, so we do give him credit. Made it to the finals last season, and he's still getting it done. 27 points, 14 assists, 9 rebounds. So once again, the guards for the Knicks have no excuse for not getting it done, truly. So shout out to Chris Paul, wonderful performance. That is our 10 minutes, but we've got to finish this up here real quick. We get Devin Booker, 33 points, led the team in scoring, 7 rebounds to go along with that. JaVale McGee at the 5, no DeAndre Ayton last night, 6 points, 9 rebounds. And then Cameron Johnson, a nice 20 points and 6 rebounds in the starting lineup. And also shout out to Bismack Biyombo coming off the bench, 16 points, 13 rebounds. Yes, sir. And then for the Jazz, this was their starting lineup, basically all their bench players. We get Trent Forrest at the 1, Jordan Clarkson at the 2, Hassan Whiteside at the 5, Rudy Gay at the 4, and Daniel House Jr. at the 3. Let's see how they fared. Trent Forrest, 17 points, 6 rebounds. Jordan Clarkson, 22 points, led the team in scoring. He took 20 shots. That was like 8 more than the second highest, so classic Jordan Clarkson. Hassan Whiteside, 10 points, 9 rebounds. Not bad. We do like the bench here. We love Rudy Gay, Hassan Whiteside, Jordan Clarkson. We call this Jazz team the deepest team, and they still were competitive. So we give this Jazz team big credit for being competitive with all their starters out and not playing. Rudy Gay, 13 points, 5 rebounds on 44% shooting. Once again, not bad. Same thing with Daniel House Jr., 44% shooting, 14 points, 4 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks, doing it all. And then they still were able to get bench production. So their bench goes to the starting lineup, and then their bench is still good. How crazy. Eric Paschall, 14 points, 4 rebounds. Jared Butler, 13 points, 4 steals. Magnificent. They kept it close, but we all know the Suns team is the true real deal. So we still give this Jazz team a ton of credit. Yes, they lost. They had no starters, kept it close. Bingo bango against this very, very good Suns team. Suns get the win, 115-109, but the Jazz cover the spread, so give them credit there. Alrighty, that is all the NBA from last night. Now let's see if we can actually bet on the NBA tonight. Can we? We could not bet on anything last night. We were dying last night. What is there to bet on? So, tons of games on tonight in the NBA. Let's see if we can find the value. And so we don't have to go back-to-back days with no betting. What is that about? So, here we go. First game up, Pelicans at the 76ers. Pelicans plus 8.5. The Pelicans are on the back-to-back. We're staying away from it. Now we get the Nuggets at the Pistons here. What is this, a back-to-back series? Yeah, they just played on Sunday, so we're staying away from this one. We don't bet back-to-backs, and we don't bet back-to-back series. No, thank you. So staying away from that one. Then we get the Hornets at the Raptors. Hornets plus 3.5, Raptors minus 3.5 here in this Hornets team, 7-3 in their last 10. Raptors hitting a little bit of a skid here since Fred VanVleet is not putting up 30 points every single game. So Hornets plus 3. I think I'm liking the value quickly here. Gordon Hayward is a game time decision for the Raptors. We get Goran Dragic is still out. Kem Birch is out as well. So Hornets plus 3.5 here. Raptors minus 3.5. I think I'm leaning a little bit towards the Hornets. I don't think it's that great a value, so let's keep that in the back of our mind. But let's see if we get any better value than that. We'll come back to this one if we need to. Now we get the Clippers at the Wizards. Clippers plus 4.5, Wizards minus 4.5. This Clippers team decently competitive even without Paul George, and this Wizards team hitting a little bit of another skid. We get this Wizards team skidding a lot. They're big up and down throughout this entire season, so the bettability on them is truly not where it really kind of needs to be for us to kind of, bet them on a daily basis, gamely basis. But everybody's good to go for the Clippers besides Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and for the Wizards, everybody's good to go for them as well. So this Clippers team getting plus 4.5 there. They're keeping it pretty close as of recent. Once again, decent value. We'll see if we get any better value though as we progress. Next game up, we'll come back to that one if we need to. Lakers at the Nets. Lakers minus 2.5, Nets plus 2.5 here. Is Anthony Davis making his return tonight, folks? He's a game time decision, and I do think he ends up playing. I mean, the Lakers being minus 2.5 here, you would have to kind of assume Vegas knows, yeah, he's going to play. It's seeming like he is going to play, but this line here truly kind of confirms it. So the bettability is back on with the Lakers now that Anthony Davis is back there on the floor. Now, should we be betting them his first game back? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe still on minutes restriction, something like that. So we'll look forward to betting this Lakers team in a couple of days from now, but I don't think we can swallow 2.5 here on his first game back. And then for the Nets, Kevin Durant is still out. Paul Millsap is out. Kyrie Irving can't play because it's at home. And Nicholas Claxton is a game time decision. So the Nets aren't going to really be having any meaningful bigs out there if Nicholas Claxton can go, but he's still scrawny. Anthony Davis should be able to body him. We'll stay away from this one. We'll evaluate Anthony Davis's contribution here, game one, and we'll use that to help us on their next game to see if we can bet them on their next game. But let's see what Anthony Davis does first, and so we'll stay away from betting the Lakers at the Nets. Then we get the Kings at the Celtics. Kings plus 8.5, Celtics minus 8.5. This Celtics team has started to try to turn this ship around a little bit, 6-4 in their last 10, but I'm not going to confidently swallow 8.5 here with the Celtics team just quite yet. And then the Kings, man, a wild card as well. Not a good team. I'm not even feeling comfortable with 8.5 points with them, so we're staying away from this one. Final 3 games. Come on, where's the value? Come on. Here we go. Spurs at the Rockets. Spurs minus 5, Rockets plus 5. Alrighty, these are 2 bad teams, but we get the Rockets at home plus some points. I think I'm kind of liking that a little bit. Let's see if everybody's good to go. Everybody's good to go for the Spurs, and everybody's good to go for the Rockets. So I hope this one doesn't bite us in the butt here. But this Rockets team can be competitive against the bad teams, and we get 5 points? Yeah, I'll take that. I'm taking the Rockets, folks, plus 5. I think this is the first time we're betting on the Rockets this season. Once again, hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us, but I think I'm feeling comfortable with them at home, able to go toe-to-toe with this Spurs team. All right, then we get the Mavericks at the Warriors. Mavericks plus 3.5, Warriors minus 3.5. Is this a back-to-back series? No, it is not. All righty. So we get Mavericks plus 3.5, Warriors minus 3.5. All right, for the Mavericks, Sterling Brown is out, and for the Warriors, Draymond Green is out, and it's not looking like he has a timetable for his return. So this is not the greatest thing that we want to hear for this Warriors team, for this Warriors team. And Klay Thompson is a game-time decision. I would expect Klay Thompson to play since he didn't play in the last game. So expect Klay Thompson out there, maybe still under minutes restrictions a tad, maybe beef it up to maybe 25, possibly 30 minutes, maybe. I don't know if he plays 30. I would kind of, mark it at 25, but we get this Mavericks team with Porzingis dominating down low, and this Warriors team, they don't have that big, folks. They don't. Draymond Green's no-go. They're 5 anyway. Kevon Looney, that's nothing special. So we get Porzingis in this Mavericks team rolling as of recent. I get 3.5. I'm going to take the Mavericks tonight, folks, with the points. I think they'll be dominant down low. And then the last game of the night here, Timberwolves at the Blazers. Timberwolves minus 3, Blazers plus 3. Man, oh man, we like this Blazers team, and we're getting points. What's up with Anthony Edwards? Let's check it all out. Patrick Beverley is a game-time decision. So Anthony Edwards limping off the floor. We talked about it yesterday, and he's good to go, so that's great. And for the Blazers, what do we got? We got Robert Covington as a game-time decision. Damian Lillard is still out. Larry Nance Jr. is out. Dennis Smith, a game-time decision. And Nasir Little is a game-time decision. But, the way that Anthony Simons and McCollum have been playing, folks, we are loving it. Blazers plus some points here at home. Timberwolves way too reliant on their big three to give them all their great scoring production. I think we're going to take the home team with some points today, folks. Take the Blazers plus 3. So there's the great value. We didn't have to settle for mediocre value. So the best value tonight, we're taking the Rockets plus 5, Mavericks plus 3.5, and the Blazers plus 3. I think that's the best value for tonight. And if we're liking those other kind of mediocre values, let's say those again. Clippers plus 4.5. I am kind of leaning towards that. I think that's decent value. And what else do we have? Was that it? The Hornets plus 3.5. I'm completely deleting that one. We are not taking the Hornets plus 3.5. I don't think that's that great a value. So Clippers plus 4.5, solid value. We're staying away from the Hornets altogether, though. So here we go. What our official picks for tonight are Rockets plus 5, Mavericks plus 3.5, and the Blazers plus 3. I think I'm loving it, folks. Alrighty, that is all the NBA we had to go over for today. So now let's shift gears to the NFL and start talking about coaching, folks. Some teams fired their head coach this season for, rightful reasons. Some other teams maybe not rightful reasons, but teams made the decision to pull the trigger and fire their head coaches, which means there's coaching vacancies, which means there's all these coordinators, offensive, defensive, trying to throw their hat in the ring of being the next head coach of an NFL team. And we've got a little bit of a break in the week here. We still got, the season is still going on, folks. We still got 4 teams left playing at Championship Sunday to try to go to the Super Bowl here. But a lot of these other teams are starting to try to, look to next season already, trying to get everything settled so they can start planning for the future for next season and all that. So we're going to be spending, I don't know how long, the next, what do we got here? We're 23 minutes deep in the show, so probably the next 40 minutes here, just casually talking about coaching, folks. That's all we're doing, casual talk time. So let's see what the new coaching news is. Let's refresh what the teams that need the coaches are. Let's see what these coaching candidates are all about, and let's talk all of it through. So let's start here with the coaches remaining in the championship hunt, shall we? Which teams, which coaches actually get it done? Once again, our narrative that we've kind of been saying the last few months here, offensive-minded coaches really should be the only hire at the head coaching position. Yes, there's obviously exceptions to the rule. Bill Belichick is the biggest one, but and why we kind of want offensive-minded coaches at the head coaching spot rather than defensive-minded defensive-minded coaches, is that it just feels like the offense is neglected when it's defense at the helm, and that goes to Brian Flores once again. I mean, Tua and that offense was always an afterthought. Even with Bill Belichick, the exception to the rule, how much help did he give Tom Brady? He never went and drafted any good receivers. He never spent any money on the offense for Tom Brady. And we're talking about Tom Brady. He's obviously no scrub, folks. And Bill Belichick still really didn't even give him any help. Bill Belichick was like, all right, here you go. Make it work because I got the defense back here. The defense was fantastic. Don't get us wrong. Same thing with the Dolphins. That defense was fantastic. Don't get us wrong. We're not knocking Brian Flores. I'm not knocking any defensive-minded coaches, but I don't think they should be head coaches. And this brings it all back to, why does everybody have to be the guy? I don't think you have to be the guy. This is a team sport. Everybody preaches team sport. The two big things, and it's so funny. Everybody teaches buying in. Everybody must buy in, and this is a full team. Everybody must do their part. Everybody must put in the work, or we're just not going to win. That's what it is. And then what happens at the end of the season? Coaches are interviewing for jobs even though they're still playing in the playoffs and are trying to win a championship. So that's a big distraction that everybody just says, all right, yeah, that's fine. We all bought in here. We all had no distractions. But yeah, these coaches can actively go out and interview while we're all trying to prepare for basically the biggest game of everybody's career at the current moment. No? So that one goes out the window. In that, what was the other one I just said? Coaches. Let me rewind it here, folks. Coaches interviewing, not buying in. What was the other rule I just had? That just blanked on me. Jeez. All right. Well, let's move on. If I rethink of it, we'll come back to it. But yeah, nobody's buying in anymore. What's up with that? Can we all just buy in? Y'all are preaching buying in, and you aren't even practicing what you're preaching. So what's up with that? So these head coaches, folks, we're going to be, I truly lost exactly where I was. I don't know what the hell that was. All right. So coaches, folks, we were talking about Bill Belichick, Tom Brady. Yeah, Bill Belichick didn't give Tom Brady any help, anything like that. Where was I going? I was going somewhere, folks. I was going somewhere. I was rolling, folks. So yeah, geez Louise. Coaches not buying in. Yeah. Coaches not, I truly apologize, folks. I know this is not good to listen to. Trust me, I'm listening to it as I speak. I know this is not good, but I've truly lost everything I was thinking. Did my mind get wiped? Does everybody's mind get wiped at 12:23 p.m. Eastern time? Man. Okay. So, coaches, folks, we want offensive-minded coaches, defensive-minded. We're not knocking defensive-minded coaches, but they really should not be. The offense is always lackluster. Brian Flores is a great defensive talent, folks. Don't get us wrong. Like we said, that Dolphins defense these last two seasons have been very, very good. They haven't shown up in the biggest game, and they always got slaughtered by the Bills. That's a separate conversation. But overall, just optically, yeah, that Dolphins defense was truly carrying the team really the entire year. And then Bill Belichick not giving Tom Brady any help, just letting him kind of, sink or swim himself when we knew he swam. But just kind of focusing in on that defense, and the offense is always an afterthought with these defensive-minded coaches. And I think it's a little bit of ego with these defensive-minded coaches. Obviously, everything in the media, everybody gushes over the quarterback in the offense. Obviously, just look at this, divisional game last week with the Bills and the Chiefs, folks. Offensive powerhouse, the final 2 minutes, all entertaining. That stuff makes social media. Nobody's really talking about, Aaron Rodgers the Packers and the 49ers, they're talking about it for a different reason, but it's not like the main game of the week because the final score was 13-10. The greatest game that I think I've ever witnessed was that Chiefs-Bills game. So that's offense right there. It gets the attention. It sells the tickets. It does all that. And I think defensive players, defensive coaches, they kind of see that and they're like, where's the love for us? So they get a little bit of a big head when they're very good and they're able to be dominant. So these defensive-minded coaches, they're like, hey, I can get it done defensively. In the offense, I'm going to put all the money in the defense. In the offense, you just have to score, 3-6 points because I'm going to hold the opposing team to like no points because that's how much I know I can get it done as the defensive guy at the head coaching position. And the offense is always an afterthought. And we'll talk about, teams this season that kind of went through that as well. So let's kind of jump into now which teams currently need coaches, which are the available teams here that are looking for the head coaching job. So I think we have 7 of them. So Raiders need a new head coach, but maybe not. Rich Bisaccia, I think he should deserve at least an interview. Let's get Rich Bisaccia's background up here. Is he offensive minded, defensive minded? We saw the offense kind of still be decent when they made the transition from John Gruden to Rich Bisaccia, and they made it into the playoffs. Derek Carr was decently clutch down the stretch. They were competitive against the Bengals, couldn't get it done in the red zone, but still were competitive, came down to the wire. Derek Carr still had a chance, so I think we give Rich Bisaccia a lot of credit for how he handled it, and especially with all the big distractions, all the DUIs, and I mean, there was, like, everybody with the Raiders were getting DUIs, folks. It was crazy. Even when they were eliminated, they were still getting DUIs. It's absolutely crazy. So Rich Bisaccia able to handle that, and with Vegas, obviously the city of sin, and obviously we know that to be true because we saw what's happened this season with all their players. It was more than just DUIs, and y'all know what we're talking about. So maybe kind of Vegas is a special need at the head coaching position, not just offensive or defensive mind, but somebody that can truly keep the team together and not let these distractions, not allow these players to become distractions. So Vegas, it's going to be a tough spot for anybody to coach in, and I really don't think that's the most attractive job. Yes, you do have Derek Carr, so that's obviously a plus, but with everybody just kind of being wild on the team there, I don't know if I want that headache. So this is truly going to take a special coach here in Vegas to bring this team together and then keep them together with no distractions for an entire season. So we'll see if Rich Bisaccia can do that. But let's get his coaching history up here, see what he's been working with, see what he's been doing, offensive mind, defensive mind, winning. Is he contributing to the winning? We'll try to dissect all of that. So here we go, Rich Bisaccia, what do you got for us? And once again, he ended the season. We've been praising Rich Bisaccia all year long since he was kind of, the new head coach for the Raiders midway through the season here. But let's see, man, Rich Bisaccia, been in the league for a while, sheesh. All right, his NFL coaching history goes back to 2002, starting with the Tampa Bay Bucks for a couple of years here, about 8 years. Special teams coach for 3 years, running backs coach, special teams coordinator, assistant head coach for 3 years with the Bucks. Then he moves in 2011, going to the Chargers, special teams coach, assistant head coach, special teams. Then he goes to the Cowboys for a couple of seasons, starts as the special teams coordinator, then assistant head coach, special teams. Oakland Raiders in 2018, once again, assistant head coach slash special teams. So special teams coaches, we're not the biggest fan of. Joe Judge is obviously probably the most recent big name was the special teams coordinator for the Patriots. Then he goes to the Giants, and he had to get fired, and they made the right decision. He is officially gone. So Rich Bisaccia, always kind of around head coaches, also doing the special teams as well. Once again, it's going to take a special talent here to truly get it all together for this Raiders team, and we'll see if he can do it. 7-5 as the interim. I think that's pretty good. I think that's decently successful. I don't think you hands down give him the job, but definitely, interview him, see how the players felt about him. And I really think that's, like, you've got a nice leg up here. If you're the Raiders, see what the players are saying about him. Get him in a room where it's just you, like the general manager, the owner, whatever, whoever's making the call here. Get these players one-on-one in a room and just be like, yeah, truly, tell me what you think about him. Is he the head coach, or was he just a little bit better being the special teams coordinator? And use that information. I don't know if it truly doesn't seem like these general managers, owners really kind of listen to their players. I mean, that's who I would be listening to. Absolutely. They're on the field all day. These coaches are on the field all day with these players. They know, they interact. These players, they've come from everywhere. They've come from collegiate programs. They've come from other NFL teams. They know what is good. They know what is bad. They know what is successful, and they know if the head coach truly has it or not. So this is going to be interesting here. I really don't have a call here on Rich Bisaccia. If he gets the job, I think that's great. If he doesn't, I can kind of understand why. So this Vegas team, this Vegas head coaching open vacancy, if you will, is probably the most complicated of everything, because you have this Vegas factor that is apparently eating everybody alive here. So Rich Bisaccia, coming from the special teams background, seemed decent and kept them competitive, kept the team together. I think that speaks for a lot for the man. So we'll see if Rich Bisaccia can keep the job. Once again, I think I could go either way on him, but I think I would give it kind of 51% to keep him, 49% to kind of get rid of him, of just how well he was able to kind of handle this situation. This was a tough situation to be thrown into really kind of overnight, because once again, going back to the John Gruden situation, it didn't seem like they were really going to take action, and then emails just kept coming out, so they're like, okay, yeah, you got to go. And then Rich Bisaccia just stepped up, made it to the playoffs, turned the team around, something that John Gruden couldn't do. I mean, that takes a lot. That's another big green flag for Rich Bisaccia. John Gruden floundering at the back end of the season, his first 3 years with the Raiders, and Rich Bisaccia hit a little bit of a skid in kind of about week 13, 14, but then cleaned it up at the end of the season and got themselves into a playoff game. I mean, that needs to be kind of shown. I mean, Brian Flores couldn't complete that. Brian Flores, started 1-7, got it done in the back end, but couldn't win that game against the Patriots. Lost that second to last game. So just couldn't get it done there. Rich Bisaccia did. So a little bit of credit for Rich Bisaccia. We'll see what the Vegas Raiders do here with them. I think it could go either way, but I think he deserves a lot of credit. All right, what else do we got here? Head coaching vacancies. We got the Denver Broncos. And once again, this is a little bit of a blank slate here. You've got some nice pieces to work with, but you don't have the quarterback. So once again, you are definitely going to want to be an offensive-minded head coach here for this Broncos team. Just coming off of Vic Fangio. And I want to say Vic Fangio is a defensive-minded head coach. Let me go back to his coaching history here, see what he's been doing here. But, when you've got this great young talent here of Jerry Jeudy, and then you are going to be the one kind of selecting the quarterback, you are truly going to want an offensive-minded head coach here in Denver. You cannot afford, with this kind of, we all agree that the quarterback is obviously the most important position, right? That's why, head coaches need to be so tight-knit with the quarterback. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Bill Belichick with Tom Brady getting it done, Mike Tomlin with Big Ben. I mean, we need this, folks. This is what wins championships. Even Doug Peterson with Nick Foles, and Doug Peterson is the big name that nobody's talking about and not interviewing. And, Doug Peterson is taking his time. He's got no reason to jump in. Everybody should be knocking on his door. Doug Peterson is the best available candidate, hands down, and you can't tell me otherwise, honestly, folks. I don't want to hear about anybody else. I want Doug Peterson for the Dolphins. If it's not Doug Peterson, I'm going to be a little upset, honestly. And once again, nobody's truly talking about him. Nobody's truly interviewing him at the current moment. So we'll see what happens there. I think he's kind of playing the long game here. I'm just waiting it out. Once again, with the season coming to an end here, take your time. What's the benefit of, getting a head coach like today or next week? Wait a minute. Wait for the Pro Bowl. See how that goes. See, what you can kind of, maybe talk to. See who you're talking to out there, all that. And just kind of see how the season finishes. Yes, what do you gain? What do you gain? A couple extra weeks to prepare? Are you truly preparing as soon as you get hired for the head coaching job? Are you really? Are you taking kind of, a few weeks to wait till the end of the season, see how everything's going to play out? So I don't get the rush to jump into getting a head coach right now. I've got no time waiting. Everybody's on Twitter, especially some Dolphins fans, are kind of like, why aren't the Dolphins making any news or any kind of, indication on who they're trying to get, and why are they waiting? Other teams are kind of getting all the good coaches. If you call Brian Daboll the best coach there, okay, we'll see how that pans out. We'll talk about that. Seems like he's kind of already going to a team. We'll talk about that as well. But I just don't understand why everybody wants a coach right now. Wait, I've got no problem waiting. Is it going to make a difference if I hire a coach right now or 4 weeks from now? Are you getting that much ahead than other teams? I don't really think so. Get the head coaching decision right. This is one of the biggest decisions for a team to be successful. It really is quarterback, head coach, edge rush, or left tackle and edge rusher. I mean, that's kind of the main components here to a winning football team. So, I mean, why rush? Don't rush. Rushing leads to more garbageness. Look at the Giants. Why would you ever hire Joe Judge? That made no sense, and they've been trash. Rushing into these decisions, folks, I don't think is the right decision. So, we'll see how all that goes, and why, who's the first one to pull the trigger, who's the last one to pull the trigger, and let's actually do that. Let's do that. We will keep track of who gets the head coaching first, who gets the first pick, who's going to make the first hire, who makes the last hire. We'll keep track of this in the offseason and then compare it to the end result of next season to see, did it pay off to wait, or did it pay off to kind of, jump the gun, jump the shark? So we'll definitely keep track of that. Once again, there's no head coaching hires as of quite yet, so, we don't have to kind of mark anything at the current moment, but we'll definitely keep an eye on that. We'll track that. All right, back to Vic Fangio here, folks. What did this man get a start at? So here we go. Starting in, oh man, Vic, damn, he been around the block a little bit. Sheesh. This man started his coaching career in the NFL in 1986, man. I wasn't even born then. Sheesh. All right, but he started linebackers coach for the Saints. Then he went to outside linebackers coach for about 6 years. Then he goes to a linebackers coach. Then he goes to Carolina in 1995. Defensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers for a few seasons. Then he goes to Baltimore for 3 years. Defensive coordinator. Then the Texans defensive coordinator. 2006. Goes back to the Ravens, special teams assistant to the head coach, not the assistant head coach, assistant to the head coach. Baltimore Ravens for a few more years, always special assistant to the head coach. Then he goes to the 49ers, back to being a defensive coordinator, goes to the Bears, defensive coordinator, and then he has the Broncos the last 3 years, 7-9, 5-11, 7-10, defensive-minded coach with great offensive weapons, and once again, that offense was truly lackluster all year long. It should have been way better. And look at the quarterbacks they had. We believed in Teddy Bridgewater, so we're not going to knock Vic Fangio too much for kind of, bringing in Teddy Bridgewater and then, Drew Lock as well, never really having that kind of great quarterback under him. But that was kind of the decisions these defensive coordinators, defensive-minded coaches make, folks. They're not adamant on getting the offense right because they are defense. It's not that they are actively overlooking the offense or not putting any time into the offense. It's just the defense and offense, they're two different schools of thought, folks. And it just does not result into championships. We see this every single year. Yes, there's exceptions to the rule. Stop bringing up Bill Belichick. All right, folks, I get it. He's, he had Tom Brady. Tom Brady's like an offensive head coach just by himself. He's the guy. If Bill Belichick never had Tom Brady, then we get Bill Belichick of the Browns and maybe the Bill Belichick as of recently. And what is that? Anything good? Any championships in their near future? I don't know. We got to see how Mac Jones progresses. But either way, folks, I just don't think they're head coach material. They're great talent. They're great defensive coordinators. They should get jobs. They should get paid good money, but they should not get the head coaching position. You need to score points. Did y'all just watch that Bills-Chiefs game? You must score points. Defense has nothing to do with it. You can have the number one defense and it's all for naught. You get 42 points dropped on you. You get 25 points scored in the last 2 minutes. You get shootouts. You get 13 seconds. It doesn't matter. You must have an offensive-minded coach at the head coaching position in today's NFL. Back in the 90s, the 80s with the Super Bowl shuffle of the Bears and all that. Yes, maybe defense back then, but we're in a new age, folks. You gotta change with the times, roll with the times, and the times say right now, check your watch, folks. Does it say? On mine it says offense. That's all my watch says, folks. I gotta get this thing fixed. But yeah, Vic Fangio, folks, I don't think he's it as a head coach, and we'll see what this Broncos team does. They've got some nice pieces. They have an open kind of spot at the quarterback that you can really do whatever you want. Draft one. Try to elevate Teddy Bridgewater a little bit more. Drew Lock seems to be maybe a backup, career backup. But yeah, Vic Fangio with the Broncos, folks. They were not anything great all year long. And Jerry Jeudy, well, I mean, did we hear like a really peep out of Jerry Jeudy all year long? Not really. So there's, exhibit one, and we'll have more of these shows where we just talk about coaching. I'm not planning to get it all out today. I know I can't get it all out today. We don't have the time. It's going to take a while. So this is going to be, episode one of a decent saga of truly just breaking down coaches. We're not being biased here. We're letting the information do the talking for us. We've been letting the on-field production do the talking for us this entire season, folks, and this is where we are at the current moment. We really don't want to see any defensive-minded coaches at the head coaching position. I'm not biased here. I don't come from an offensive coaching tree. I'm no big name in coaching. I'm just telling y'all what we're seeing actively week in, week out, game in, game out, year in, year out. As of recently, these defensive coaches, I don't know what their specific reason is, but it's just not getting it done. Once again, maybe ego has something to do with it. They believe they can just let their defense get it done because, hey, if I'm the defensive head coach, well, I'm just going to, focus on the defense because that's my roots. But that's not what wins in this league. Leslie Frazier had the number one defense, and y'all wanted to give him a head coaching job. You still think he deserves a head coaching job of not getting it done in the biggest game? Once again, let's wait to interview all these coaches. Why am I interviewing coaches based on the regular season? What is that? Who plays for the regular season, folks? Nobody. You got to get in the playoffs. You got to win a couple of playoff games. And Leslie Frazier in the biggest game against the Chiefs, who they already lost to last season in the playoffs, soul-crushing Stephon Diggs picture. Everybody knows, staring into the confetti, being like, damn, I wish that was us. All right, next year, let's get it done. And then they beat them in the regular season. The Bills beat the Chiefs in the regular season this season. And then in the playoffs, when it truly matters, Leslie Frazier beefs it big time. You can't beef it any bigger than that. 13 seconds, you have the lead. What is he doing? So decision making, all that, how you handle pressure, how you handle the big time, you must take that all into consideration. So once again, why are we rushing here, folks? There's no need to be rushing to a huge major spot. If you want to rush to a defensive lineman, if you want to rush on an offensive right guard, if you want to rush on a third string wide receiver, yeah, fine, rush into that, pay them all the money, overpay them, whatever, I don't care. But the head coach, the quarterback, you cannot rush into any of those positions, folks. You can't. You're not going to get it done here, folks. We see it all the time. And once again, I just thought of this. Doug Peterson, folks, he took Nick Foles to the Super Bowl, folks. He took Nick Foles. What defensive-minded coach is taking Nick Foles to the Super Bowl? Matt Nagy can't do anything with Nick Foles. Doug Peterson said, hey, you haven't played all year. Carson Wentz is down. Hey, you're in, kid. And even relied on him. Hey, you want to go Philly special? All right. taking into account, do y'all see what we're saying? Doug Peterson is the best choice, hands down. And if Doug Peterson's not the first hire, then this league is absolutely insane, folks. I don't know what else to tell you. So the Broncos with Vic Fangio, folks, not really getting it done. Vic Fangio should not be a candidate for head coaching. Defensive coordinator, absolutely not head coach. All right, then we get the Jacksonville Jaguars. This head coaching vacancy is up for grabs. They had, the interim head coach. He didn't really get it done. We didn't really see any kind of step after they fired Urban Meyer, or when, they fired, John Gruden for the Raiders. We saw Rich Bisaccia keep at least the same level, and they were winning. The Jaguars interim head coach actually kept the same level, but they were losing, and that wasn't anything good. But they did win against the Colts. That was a big game. So, yeah, a little credit there. To the interim head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's get what he's got going on here, what his coaching history is, to see if maybe the Jaguars should kind of, interview this man. Let's get his name, because I don't even know the name. That's why I call him interim. But Jaguars, here we go, interim head coach. Let's get him up here. And then we'll see what he's been doing in the league. Daryl Bevel. What do you got for us, Daryl Bevel? You been doing anything good? You been anything good? You been around the block like Vic Fangio since 1900? Derek Bevel, coaching history. Let's get that up quickly. Let's see. Should he even be interviewed? Because if I see one defensive thing, thank you for beating the Colts. Yeah, you got to go. All right, so here we go. Starting in 2000. No. He's starting in 1996. 2000. That's when he started. He was in college in 1999. All right, 2000. Offensive assistant with the Green Bay Packers for a couple of seasons. Then in 2006, he goes with the Vikings. Offensive coordinator, Seattle, offensive coordinator, Detroit, offensive coordinator, and then he was with the Jaguars this season. First year with the Jaguars, offensive coordinator. So yeah, Daryl Bevel, I definitely think may get an interview. Maybe, interview him, see what he can do. But we didn't really see Trevor Lawrence's play kind of increase at the back end of the season. It was really just kind of the defense solid all year long. So I don't know if Daryl Bevel is the right choice, but he is an offensive guy, so I think he has more of a chance than really, Brian Flores. I don't do Brian Flores. I cannot endorse Brian Flores anymore, folks, as a head coach. Defensive coordinator, yes, he's a brilliant defensive mind. Don't get me wrong, but you can't be a head coach. Go back to Dan Quinn, folks. He was with the Legion of Boom, defensive coordinator for that. But, once again, there was some great pieces there. But overall, they got it done. And then he goes to a head coach with the Falcons, and he was good year one, and then just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Lost the Super Bowl, couldn't really get back there, was never as dominant as they were. And just once again, every single year, they just kept getting worse and worse. And then he goes with the Cowboys, and now he has one good season, once again, with a lot of talent on that Cowboys defense. There's so much talent. The Walk of Fame, folks, the Walk of Fame defense. And now everybody wants to see Dan Quinn as another head coach. And it's just like, did y'all not just see the Falcons? He can't get it done either. Mike McCarthy can't get it done. You must fire him as well. But Dan Quinn's not the head coach. He's not the guy. Oh my God. It's just it's a little maddening, folks. A little maddening. So we got the Jaguars job up for grabs. We got the Dolphins job up for grabs, and we'll see what they do. I want to see Doug Peterson, and only Doug Peterson, honestly. Maybe Sean Payton, because we got that story to talk about as well. The owner was like, yeah, I don't know. The owner came out, it was laughing. He was like, yeah, we don't know what Sean's doing. I think he'll let us know soon, but we don't know what the heck he's got going on. And so I don't know if Sean Payton's returning to the Saints there. And with Tua being small, Drew Brees being small, obviously they've had success, Sean Payton and Drew Brees. Maybe this is a good fit for him, but maybe Sean Payton can't coach unless he has a great quarterback. And so far, Tua is not as good as Drew Brees. I think we can all agree on that. We like Tua, but he's no Drew Brees, obviously. So Sean Payton, we still have to kind of decide, is he a good coach or not? Because we just saw his offense this season with Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill and Trevor Siemian, and I get it, a lot of quarterback switching, but it never just looked good. We've been complaining about that all year long. They took no deep shots, and I get it. No Michael Thomas. I get all the intricacies that the Saints were going through. We talked about it daily. We talked about it every week. So, Sean Payton, maybe a little bit of a question mark, maybe, but we'll see. But I would definitely say Doug Peterson, Sean Payton, those are really the only two candidates that any team should be truly going after. And if you're making a hire ASAP, you're not going to have a chance at those guys because Sean Payton hasn't even made up his mind whether he's coaching the Saints or not. So why are the Giants, who had their eyes set on somebody, folks, and it's Brian Daboll, and that's kind of seeming like it's going to happen. Some rumors going out already that Brian Daboll is going to go to the New York Giants. We get this Twitter account. Shout out to NFL Rums, NFL Rumors, at NFL Rums. They are NFL Rumors. On Twitter, they've got some good information. I stand by this account. This is a nice, informative account here. And they said the New York Giants are expected to offer Brian Daboll their head coaching job per league source. And this was yesterday at 4 p.m. Eastern. So, that's seeming like it's going to happen. And we'll see if Brian Daboll is the real guy. He's offensive minded. So, that's definitely a plus there. Josh Allen, a nice tall quarterback. Daniel Jones, a nice tall quarterback. Dual threat as well. Not as big of an arm as Josh Allen, not as accurate as Josh Allen, but maybe he can mold him. Let's see how far Brian Daboll goes back to this Bills team. Was Brian Daboll there with Josh Allen his first 2 years when he was trash, or did Brian Daboll get there last season for Josh Allen and then turn him around? Let's see how long Brian Daboll has been here for the Buffalo Bills. So let's get his coaching history up here quickly, because this, this Giants job potentially is gone. So here we go. He gets to the Bills in 2018. Is that Josh Allen's first year, or was Josh Allen 2019? Let's quickly get that up. I want to say they both came kind of together, and if that's a pretty decent sign for Brian Daboll. We saw Josh Allen get better, obviously, every single season. And what did we kind of cheer about this season for the Bills? They were aggressive with their play calling in the playoffs. So this could be a good hire. Brian Daboll getting better every single year. And that's another requirement. If I'm a general manager or I'm an owner, I need to see you getting better every single year. If I see you stall for a year, 2 years, gosh, if you're stalling for 3 years, I don't know if I give you any credit. Or if you're getting better year 1, year 2, year 3, then you take a little bit of a step back year 4, and then year 5 you're going back as well. I count that as a big black mark on your coaching resume. What do we kind of look for when we break down draft prospects? What did you do in the bowl game where you have all that time to prepare to get right? So that's kind of, and we also walk through the seasons as well. We want to see you get better from freshman year, sophomore, junior season, senior year in college as well. So if you're not, getting it done in the big games, if you're not getting better every single year, then why are we hiring you? We want to kind of be good for 1 year and then trash the rest of the year like Dan Quinn? Is that what teams are trying to do? Because I just saw Bill Belichick run a dynasty, and I see Andy Reid wherever he goes, he gets it done. So, and always getting better. It's hard to get better because Andy Reid is already fantastic, but staying at that constant greatness his entire career with multiple teams, AFC, NFC, Donovan McNabb, and not dual threat quarterback. Then you go to Michael Vick, dual threat quarterback. Then you go to Patrick Mahomes, dual threat quarterback. So he's able to work with all these greatness and still be great. I mean, that speaks to Andy Reid on how great of a coach he is. And what is Andy Reid? Offensive minded, obviously, folks, right? So, Brian Daboll, potentially this could be a really great hire. I don't I still like this season going into head coaching hire. I still give Doug Peterson, obviously we still give Sean Payton the nod over Brian Daboll, but Brian Daboll could be a great hire and a potentially great head coach now that we're seeing him get better every single year. Let's just bring this up quickly. I'm almost certain Josh Allen came in 2018. Brian Daboll's been here for 4 years. Josh Allen, this is his 4th year. 2018. Josh Allen, these stats got better every single season. Let's see. Started in 2018, 52% completion percentage. Next season, 2019, 58% completion percentage. 2020, 69% completion percentage. And then he drops off a little bit here at 63% completion percentage for this season. But once again, I mean, that year last year was something special, folks. So I didn't really see him exceeding that 69%. But once again, the offense got much better. Josh Allen was throwing the ball almost 70 times more than what he did last season. So obviously the drop in completion percentage, it's going to speak for itself. But yeah, Brian Daboll and this Bills offense getting better every single year. So if the Giants do hire Brian Daboll, we definitely give him the thumbs up. That's a great pick, and I think we would definitely endorse that pick for this Giants team. They've got nice offensive pieces. We've talked about it. We still believe in Daniel Jones. Joe Judge is obviously not the guy. Special teams with the coordinator or with the quarterback, folks, that's not the guy, folks. We see this. You must have a great quarterback head coach relationship. What did we just read? Andy Reid goes over to Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, 13 seconds left, saying, hey, when it's grim, be the Grim Reaper. You think a special teams coordinator saying that? He probably goes over and be like, all right, well, you got to do it. No, you got to do it. That's how Joe Judge comes over to Patrick Mahomes. Well, it's up to you now, kid. Go get it done. Like, is that too encouraging? No. I want to hear, hey, if it's grim, be the Grim Reaper. Hey, if it's fucking grim, go murder that grimness. You got 13 seconds left. Do they not know? Do they not know that you left way too much time on the clock? People talk about, oh, you left a minute with Aaron Rodgers. Oh, you left a minute with Tom Brady. Well, how about we all recognize the 13 seconds with Patty Mahomes? How about that? And could you imagine the confidence that Patrick Mahomes gets from Andy Reid, taking in, his feelings, taking in, his advice, Patrick Mahomes' advice to Andy Reid kind of talking him up, coaching him, giving him all that motivation needed, folks. Is it crazy that Patrick Mahomes sat for an entire year and then instantly got to the AFC Championship game when he started? Instantly got to 4 straight? I mean, folks, we know Andy Reid is great, but Patrick Mahomes, I don't know if he's as great on any other team without Andy Reid. So you need that great connection, and it seemed like Brian Daboll, Josh Allen, decent connection there. Sean McDermott, Josh Allen, solid connection there. So this could be, something good with the Giants with Brian Daboll and Josh Allen. We'll see how that goes. All right, so we get the Giants coaching job. That is all good to go. We talked about that. The Dolphins up for grabs. I really only want to see Sean Payton or Doug Peterson. Then that brings us to the Bears. The Bears. What do we got with Matt Nagy? I believe Matt Nagy was a little offensive-minded, wasn't he? And he still didn't get it done. So a little bit the exception to our rule. It's not, if you just get an offensive-minded coach, he can get it done. Matt Nagy's not a leader. You still need that leadership aspect. I don't know how much of a leader Brian Daboll is going to be. That's probably going to be the knock on him. If there is one next season, you still need to be the leader. That's why Brian Flores was probably fired this season, because he's not a leader. The rumors of Deshaun Watson all year long, never truly committing to the media on Tua. You can't do that, folks. We just talked about the relationship between Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Did that sound like anything like we just talked about with Brian Flores and Tua? Could you imagine Andy Reid being like, yeah, Deshaun Watson, we hear, but, Patrick Mahomes, we got Patrick Mahomes. Just keep saying that, yeah, we got Patrick Mahomes. Hey, Andy Reid, Deshaun Watson potential availability, you interested in that? Is that going to be a move that you guys make? And Andy Reid was like, well, Patrick Mahomes is our quarterback for now. Is that going to give you enough confidence? Because that's what Brian Flores was doing to Tua. Yeah, Tua's our quarterback right now. Yeah, Tua's our quarterback right now. Tua's our quarterback right now. Yeah, you back there? Yeah, Tua's our quarterback right now. Not committing. Tua's our guy. 100%. I believe in him. He's a starter. He gets it done. He's a leader. He gets us to the win. And Tua is undoubtedly the guy. We've got no interest in nobody that's not our guy. We've got no interest in Deshaun Watson. Tua's a guy. Tua's our starting quarterback. I believe in him. And, he leads us to the promised land most of the time there. So, Brian Flores did none of that. Matt Nagy was really doing none of that. Draft Justin Fields. And, we got a plan. We don't know when. Andy Dalton's our guy. We got a plan with Justin Fields. We got a plan for him. We got a plan. We're sticking to the plan. We're sticking to the plan with Justin Fields. We're sticking to the plan. We're not starting on week 1. We're probably not going to start him for a while. We're sticking with the plan. We're going with Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton, maybe Nick Foles, but Andy Dalton. Oh, Justin Fields, yeah, we're sticking to the. It's just like you drafted Justin Fields. Andy Dalton's washed up. What are we doing? Matt Nagy, let's get his coaching history quickly here. Because I do believe he was offensive minded, but once again, the leadership aspect, more into it than just, this or this. Everything is more nuanced than just, binary, this or this, that or this, folks. This is why we talk. This is why we talk, folks. We talk everything through. This is what the show is. We're just talking everything through. We're looking at every example. I'm not just bringing up the examples, the points that prove my point or anything like that. We're looking at everything. Here we go. Matt Nagy. Coaching history. Let's get this up here. How much of an offensive guy was he? Was he both? What do we got here by Matthew Nagus? Here we go. Starting in 2008 with the Philadelphia Eagles, he was a coaching intern. You can be a coaching intern? Damn, I'm about to be a coaching intern. You don't got to pay me. Let me just be there. Let me learn. I'll be a coaching intern. Eagles, hit me up. Doug Peterson, hit me up. I want to be on your staff. True. Doug Peterson, honestly, I know there's some fans of the show here. If it's Doug Peterson's one of them, let me be on your coaching staff. I would love nothing more than that. Philadelphia Eagles coaching intern, coaching assistant in 2010, 2011, offensive quality control coach. Then he goes to the Chiefs in 2013, quarterbacks coach, co-offensive coordinator with the Chiefs in 2016, and an offensive coordinator for the Chiefs in 2017. Wow. And then he becomes the head coach for the Bears in 2018, 12-4 first year, 8-8, 8-8, 6-11. Once again, Matt Nagy got worse every single year. I don't know if I'd take a hire on Matt Nagy, honestly. He's offensive minded, not truly quite the leader that we need. And he came from Andy Reid's coaching tree. How unfortunate is that? If I'm Andy Reid, I'm so disappointed in Matt Nagy. Be like, you're disrespecting, you're disgracing my name like this. Do you see what I'm doing over here? I'm 4 straight AFC championships deeps over here, where you can't even get the quarterback right. You've got 3 quarterbacks and you're still trash. This man was a quarterback's coach, right? Quarterbacks coach. Matt Nagy was a quarterbacks coach and still had 3 that had decent success. Andy Dalton always getting to the playoffs, always losing. That's the knock. Nick Foles winning a Super Bowl, not good anywhere else, but won a Super Bowl. And then Justin Fields, a blank slate, a dual threat blank slate in today's league, and he still could do nothing with it. Man, I don't know if I give Matt Nagy another chance, honestly, at the head coaching position this early. Alrighty, folks. I think that's a good place to start it. We got our initial discussion, our initial thoughts out there. We're going to be doing this when we have time in the show. We'll do it more in the off season, until all the hiring is complete. And that just the one thing I wanted to kind of, laugh at, and we didn't get to it today, unfortunate. But, the Panthers, they're not looking for a head coach. They're looking for an offensive coordinator because once again, Matt Rule is pointing the blame on everybody every single time something goes bad. Gets rid of the offensive coordinator, like 3 weeks left to go in the season, and they were still trash offensively, so it didn't matter. And then he hires this dude, folks, Ben McAdoo. He hires Ben McAdoo, folks. We were clowning. What was it? The Cowboys that brought him in as a consultant, like a special consultant to that team. What are we doing here with Ben McAdoo? He was the one that was brought in just to bench Eli Manning so the Giants could get off of Eli Manning with no big person in the Giants organization having to make that call. He was the scapegoat. Ben McAdoo was Eli Manning's scapegoat here to bench him. This man is trash, folks. He's not going to be good. And if you're the Carolina Panthers, you have Matt Rule and Ben McAdoo on your team. That's so comical, folks. Good luck to the Panthers next year, folks. I'm sorry to all the Panthers fans. This is not working out. Ben McAdoo? Oh my God. Couldn't believe it when I saw it. This is the guy that Matt Rule thinks can get it done. You just moved off of Joe Brady, and then you're going to Ben McAdoo. Okay. Okay, this Panthers team is going to give us the comedic relief we need for this offseason, and I'm all here for it, folks, truly. So that's what Matt Rule does. Ben McAdoo, hire offensive coordinator for the Panthers, folks. Jeez. Woo, that is truly hilarious. All right. That's going to do it for us today, folks. Part 1 of our coaching dissection here of this season. We'll do plenty more. Once again, just casually talking, breaking everything down, looking back, comparing, breaking down, comparing. Alrighty, folks, go out and get Doug Peterson if you can. I hired Doug Peterson immediately. I don't even need to interview him. I call him up. Hey, Doug, you free? You want to come coach? Alrighty, we'll send you the check. Alrighty, we'll see you tomorrow. Alrighty, folks, we will see you tomorrow. Go get Doug Peterson. Anybody, please go get Doug Peterson. We'll see if Brian Dable Bevel works out for the Giants. Alrighty, folks, we are out of here. We'll see you tomorrow. We got our film study show. We probably won't talk coaches tomorrow, but we'll talk film study, getting us ready for Championship Sunday, folks. Alrighty, folks, we are out of here. Enjoy your day. Make some money in the NBA. We got you some great picks. All right, folks.